marriage that was falling apart, a love affair that went wrong, and a young woman who had her whole life ahead of her met her untimely death. Why did it happen? How did it happen? These are some of the questions we all are asking ourselves. Join us as we delve deeper into this shocking case, unraveling the secrets that tore apart the lives of these intertwined couples, and explore the darkness that hid beneath the desert's dazzling facade. Stay tuned for the untold story of betrayal, murder, and the deadly affair that shocked a nation.
A giant search is underway after the pregnant wife of a U.S. Marine vanishes.
It's in the mystery surrounding the disappearance of young pregnant Marine wife Erin Corwin.
It's now been 3 weeks since a pregnant Oak Ridge woman disappeared from her home in California.
Murder mystery involving a pregnant Marine wife has been solved with the arrest of this man, another Marine said to be the woman's lover.
The man accused of killing a pregnant Marine wife is standing behind his story.
Who would have imagined that in the heart of the beautiful Californian desert lies the screams of a woman whose seemingly idyllic life took a chilling downturn? The dark and unfortunate day of June 28, 2014, took the life of 19-year-old Erin Corwin, who must have screamed her lungs struggling to fight her killer only to be strangled to death and be thrown down a mine shaft. Erin Corwin had just recently got married to her high school sweetheart in Nov 2013, John Corwin, a decorated Marine. She was an expectant mother, living what appeared to be a picture-perfect life, a life that every woman would have yearned for. But behind this facade of an idyllic life of wedded bliss lay a dark secret, a secret so deep that it would ultimately cost her her life. Less than a year later, in September 2013, after their marriage, Erin and John Corwin moved to 29 Palms, California, home to the Marine Corps base. It is here where they quickly formed close friendships with other military couples. Among them were Connor and Aisling Maliki, Christopher Brandon Lee, and his wife Nicole. Life for these three couples seemed like a pleasant blend of friendship and camaraderie. When the husbands were on duty, the wives would gather and be there for each other with snacks and gossip, while the men would bond over their duties while at work and over barbecues and movie nights. Who knew that, despite this seemingly idyllic rhythm, beneath the surface of this happy life, tensions were simmering? It didn't take long for things to go wrong. John and Erin Corwin often clashed over financial issues, blaming each other for overspending, leading to fiery arguments that would often end in screaming matches. These tensions threatened to tear them apart. It was only Erin's pregnancy that brought temporary respite. It bridged the gap that was being created between the two. They were happy. They found a reason to set aside their differences and give their relationship a new chance. But then good days never have a long life. Tragedy struck the couple. Erin Corwin underwent a miscarriage. Somewhere John's inability to be there for his grieving wife and handle her pain was a primary reason for their drifting apart yet again. Meanwhile, Christopher Brandon Lee, who had been a close friend of the Corwins, appeared to be more than what meets the eye. His enigmatic personality appeared to be what an ideal model Marine would expect to be. However, under these layers of perfectionism, he had a darker side. Known for recklessness and misconduct, his facade began to crumble. His deception was now becoming more and more apparent. It is truly said that one cannot keep faking it for a long time. There comes a time when these layers of deception start shedding. Post her miscarriage, Erin Corwin and Christopher Lee's paths crossed more frequently. They found solace in each other's company. Maybe it was one's grief and others' falling deception that brought them closer to each other. One can't say what led to the sprouting of their illicit relations. As their meetings increased, their secret affair began to unfold. As and when they went forward with their affair, the results of the same were to be seen. The passionate affair between the two culminated in Erin's second pregnancy. What is more shocking is that her husband was not aware that he was not the father of the child whose arrival he was awaiting. Shocking, isn't it? It wasn't her husband's child, but Christopher's child who she was carrying. Then, one fine day on June 28, 2014, Erin Corwin vanished without leaving a trace, leaving behind only a loving goodbye to her husband, John. Erin's disappearance took everyone by surprise. This was something not common. A Marine's wife going missing is a matter of grave importance. Erin's disappearance sparked a frantic search. Everybody was guessing where she could have gone. It was very weird that she had left no trace. Was she missing out on her free will, or had something happened to her? There were no answers. No one was sure about her whereabouts. Her mother initially hoped that Erin had merely lost her way in the vast Joshua Tree National Park.
And my first thought is she's gotten lost. Erin has no sense of direction.
But when Erin's abandoned car was found outside the park, hope turned to despair. The fear that everyone had in their minds but no one dared to speak of now seemed to be turning into a reality. 2 long months later, no one could have guessed that Erin's body would be found hidden at the bottom of an abandoned mine shaft, her life extinguished by a handmade garrote. Her pregnancy, her secret, remained a mystery, as decomposition had erased any form of evidence. It was a murder in cold blood. What could be the reason behind such an inhuman act? What did Erin do to meet such a horrible death? Who had she wronged to such an extent? These were a few questions that rocked the entire 29 Palms. Perhaps there is no such thing as the perfect crime. No matter how shrewd the criminal thinks himself to be, he always either leaves a trace behind or eventually ends up confessing. A criminal can never escape the claws of justice. Erin's killer was no special. He too had to meet his end. It was during this time, soon after Erin's disappearance, that Christopher Brandon Lee had moved to Alaska with his wife and daughter. Does seem a bit odd, right? People tend to migrate to better places. California is one of them, from far-off places in search of better opportunities. But Lee chose the opposite path. What would have been the reason behind his decision to move to Alaska, of all the places? Was he remorseful for having cheated on his wife and daughter? Was he regretting having an illicit relationship with Erin and getting her pregnant? Or was he escaping from someone? His deeds indeed looked suspicious. He had forgotten that no matter how hard you try to bury the truth, it will find its own way to the light of the day. The truth finally emerged when Christopher Brandon Lee was arrested in Alaska in August 2014. He initially pleaded not guilty, but later confessed to the murder, claiming Erin was molesting his daughter, a claim that was never substantiated. There was never any proof of his claims. At this time, too, he remained silent about impregnating Erin. Prosecutors believed that Christopher lured Erin into the desert and killed her to hide the affair between the two. The pair are said to have rendezvoused for what Corwin believed would be a romantic evening with a marriage proposal. But they ended up outside the mine and argued because Lee, who'd been suicidal for a month and played Russian roulette, wanted to attempt suicide outside the mine. He'd been distraught in part because he was denied deployment, an act considered to be heroic among Marines. Lee is also said to have become angry because he suspected that Erin Corwin molested his daughter. "I made the decision to kill her," Lee testified. "I was controlled by anger. The hate I felt that day was something I never want to experience again." Lee said he approached Corwin from behind and strangled her for at least 5 minutes with a garrote made up of 2 pieces of rebar and a cord. He released his hold and her body fell to the ground. He spent 30 seconds checking if she was alive, but found no signs of life. Christopher Lee then dragged Erin's body to the mine shaft and pushed her in with the head going first. The prosecution showed a video of the mine shaft, and Corwin's right foot was visible among other debris that was considered evidence. Evidence also included the garrote and a propane tank similar to one Lee owned. In a shocking twist of justice, Lee was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole in November 2016. His appeal was denied, highlighting the false claims he made to escape prosecution. The tragic tale of Erin Corwin serves as a chilling reminder that secrets, when left unchecked, can lead to devastating consequences. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Add your comment below about your opinion on this case. And if you want to watch more such crime stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until next time, stay safe, stay happy,